Maximum Sports Radio Roadshow featuring Jay Ratliff. Brought to you by Maximum Sports Connection. No one gets you closer to the Cowboys. Now, here are your hosts, Nate Newton and Mickey Spagnola.
All right, let's hear it. It's our Maximum Sports Radio Roadshow. Good to have you guys here with us.
It's just great, man. And remember now, don't let this be about me and Mickey. If you have a question, I think Miss Ronnie's going to have some deals to do with online. So
and we have the wireless mic. So yeah, if you have a question, come on up over here.
What is this young lady's name right here who's willing this mic with us? What is your name, young lady?
My name's Chris.
We're talking to the mic, ma'am.
Oh, my name's Chris.
Thank you.
My name's Chris.
Yeah.
That was very official.
Yeah. Come on
Very
around,
good.
Ms.
Well, Chris, just hang out over here, and if anybody's got a question, come up because we want to get you on the broadcast here on CowboySportsTours.com and let all your friends see that you're here with us and that they should be here with you, enjoying this kind of happy hour after the practice took place. Another practice tomorrow. Have a walkthrough, Nate, in the morning once again at 10:30, and then an afternoon practice in pads. Hopefully there'll be no more weather issues. I blame it on Pete Delkus.
I don't blame
you know
Pete,
somebody. Don't
you?
you?
I know Pete. I met his son today. I tried to slap him down, but
he's a local in Dallas weatherman, and he was here for one of the stations. And it's like, man, you must have known there was going to be weather issues. You showed up. That's the problem.
Messed up the evening practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, give us your name, where you're from, and fire away that question.
Hi, I'm Jim Fuscus. I'm from San Francisco, and thank you.
Good to have you, Jim.
Thank you. My question for you is, what's the likelihood of Bryant, if he's suspended by either the Dallas Cowboys or NFL, they sign the TO by any chance?
Absolutely none. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be suspended or whatever, but T.O. ain't coming in here no more. Tony Romo put up with that for 3 years. That ain't happening again.
Thank you.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
Some questions don't deserve an answer. Come on now.
I got it done with
man,
one word.
No, I'm just saying, well, first of all, how many Cowboy fans in here? Okay. All right. How many people follow the Cowboys? All right. No more questions like that.
Or maybe anybody offended that they don't sign T.O. No, that's okay. No, that's all right. All right, who do we have here?
Diane Fonseca from Santa Clarita.
How are you tonight?
I'm fine. I just want to know what's your strategy for this first game, the preseason?
Against the Raiders?
Against the Raiders.
Strategy for that first preseason game, Nate. They will, I would imagine, let the starters go a quarter, and then you're going to see a whole lot from a lot of the young guys in that first preseason game.
Now, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and I was the head coach, now all of my quarterback, my wide receivers, and my defense will probably see a quarter. But if I'm the offensive line coach, I would demand a quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters, because you got 5 guys that really don't know each other up front. And I would have to take that chance of someone getting injured because these guys have to get together and play together now. But I'm not a coach, and so they may do it different. But you got 5 brand new guys. You got 2 tackles that are switch, 2 guards that are basically new, working with the center, that will be new to them. So I will have to get me at least a quarter and a half, unless they go 20, 25, 30 plays within that first quarter.
And a lot of that, Nate, will depend on if these new guys that they're signing are ready to go, because the guys you're talking about might have to play with the second team anyway, even if the second team's in, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This thing is scary right now for his offensive line situation. Coaches are not going to panic because they've been in these situations before. But me as a fan and a guy that's just looking from the outside, we need to be real solid on that offensive line this year.
Good question. Appreciate that very much.
Great question.
Let's get to the next one.
Yeah, how you doing? My name is Joe. I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, California. And
how come all these people see these names so fast? I can't understand where they're from.
Rancho
Cucamonga what?
Cucamonga.
Okay, Cucamonga. Where is that?
It's like San Bernardino area.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm good now.
At least they proud of where they're from.
Yeah. So I know like leadership was a big thing about last year and who was going to definitely step up to the next play. I know we have a few vets on our team, offense and defensively. Has there anybody so far that you guys seen where they've really stepped up in your guys' eyes that really didn't stand out too much last year?
As a leader? Yes. Boy, there's a bunch of guys that I thought stepped up last year as a leader and are doing the same thing this year. I'll let you go.
Tony Romo is solid. Jason Witten is solid. D. Ware is in his own way is solid. I mean, Sean Lee is really stepping to the forefront and showing guys, through his play and through his excitement, what leadership is. He know how to talk to guys, when to say things. I mean, and then you got on the back end, Brandon Carr, is doing his thing, and I see him talking to players, and trying to show them the right way to be a professional man. I'll say this every time somebody bring up the leadership thing. Leadership ain't just people screaming at people. A lot of you in CEO roles, like, just early when I was like, close the door. The kid was out there screaming, Miss Ronnie, like, no, we can't close the door. She didn't come to me and say, Nate, no, we're not, because she know that I'm going to go back at her in that same way. You see what I'm saying? Leadership is about knowing how to handle your people around you, not bringing in T.O. That's not leadership.
T.O.
Bad leadership.
Man, we're going to give him another shot at the question. What do you
he better come ask another question, dude. He's banned from here.
Appreciate the question. Thank you very much. And I echo what Nate had to say. Everybody wants somebody to step. I don't think there's any better leader than Jason Witten. Yes. All you have to do is watch what he does, listen to what he says, and then just go repeat everything because he is a hard worker. Nate and I were talking about this the other day on Sunday. So we got here Saturday. It was Sunday.
Don't worry, Mick. Just the other day.
They did the other day?
Yeah.
No, I wanted to give it so they understood. So Sunday they did their conditioning test, right?
Yes, they did.
They were done with the test. Everybody was off the field, and Witten was still out there practicing. He was getting down in his three-point stance, and he was practicing his takeoffs from the line of scrimmage.
Right.
One time going right, one time going left. Nobody else was out there. No one made him do it, but he felt like he needed to work on something before they started practice on Monday. So when you see a guy on your team doing something like that, to me, that's leadership. He's going the extra mile, and he's talked about he doesn't want this opportunity to escape him, and he's actually out there doing something to try to make sure that indeed takes place. That light's pretty bright, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I just feel like it ain't right, man, because I feel like, they aiming this at me like the regular camera. I'm too dark for the regular camera or something, man. I'm not feeling this, man. I mean, I'm going to have to talk to my boss, Miss Ronnie, about this, man. Really. Miss Ronnie, do you have anything for us? Okay, courtesy.
And and by the way, my cameramen when we shoot
Right.
the TV shows,
yes,
they're
sir.
getting a little mad at me too.
They are?
Yeah.
Why?
They say I'm getting too dark.
Oh, not out here.
Speaking of dark,
Not out here in sunny California.
all right, who do we have?
My name is Gus. I'm also from Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay.
And earlier on the show, you were talking about injuries, and wanted to see if you had an opportunity to see DeMarco Murray out in action, and is he ready to come back?
He's ready, huh?
You know what? This dude is smooth. The other day before they got in practices, I saw him make a few breaks, a few cuts, man, real smooth. Then he'd get out in the open field, and the DB will run up on him, man, and he can either outrun him but he'll just lean back into him and give him a little love tap and then go. Man, this dude, I'm excited. It's been a long time since I looked at a running back and just said, man, this dude is special, man. I mean, I'm excited. I'm not excited. I just want him to get through this preseason, man. Do just enough banging so he can get his body adjusted. But I want to see what he can do, and that's why I'm so wanting this offensive line to come together. Because I think with Vickers, the fullback, he's stable, he's solid. I just want to see what they're going to do together.
You mentioned Sean Lee about his leadership,
Right.
and I don't know if you saw this. It was in practice today.
Don't worry about the days, Mick.
He ran into somebody and got knocked down, right? And so whoever it was, it might have been Murray, by the way. He had his hand out like he was going to help him up, and Lee just kind of scuffled his feet like a pouting kid.
Yeah.
And he got up and walked away, and he just ran off. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want your hand. I'll
That's
take care
right.
of myself.
You know, because Jimmy Johnson always told us, you know, when we went to training camp, the first thing he would say is, you know who the enemy is, right? And we're about to be like, what are you talking about? The guy across from you. He said from this, you know, so me and Tony Tolbert was roommates. So I'm looking, you know, we go in the room after practice, we staring at each other. I'm like, man, and Tony was kind of mean, and I'm just easy going. I'm like, hope Tony don't jump on me, man. We got practice in the room, too.
Scared to close your eyes,
but
huh?
definitely, man, we got our T.O. again.
All right.
He gets his second chance.
Everybody else, boo on through. Oh, no.
I'm here to redeem myself.
Okay.
Okay. The defense this year under Ryan, they have OTAs under their belts now, and hopefully a full year going. How do you think, in your opinion, are they going to catch his defense? It is kind of complicated.
A little more organized, I think. I think they understand the concepts of the defense. I think they understand the nuances now. And, you know, we'll see when they get into the heat of the battle, but I see less commotion out there when they're trying to line up. They're getting lined up. So I think the offseason, the OTAs, the mini camps certainly have helped. And even last year, just going through it all, they have a systematic way of installing things. And last year it was just shotgun. It's like, okay, start. Am I talking with my hands too much?
I'm just, you know, I'm with you, Mick. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
And so I think that they were able to install everything, and I think everybody understands, and I think they're doing a much better job of grasping what they want to do.
You know, sir, and the thing that I try to tell people is, you know, a defense is clicking once a guy start to perform within the defense. You know, a lot of guys will, should I be in this gap or should I drop back? But when you see guys start making plays, you know, and doing what they got to do, and DBs start batting down balls and start, you know, jumping around, you know that they're comfortable then. Last year, toward the end of the season, you didn't see that. You saw guys looking at each other like, man, you know, where were you supposed to be? Where I was, you know. You can see that, like he said, people weren't comfortable. They weren't organized. But I think you'll see a lot like Hatcher. Hatcher, I think, knows this defense. I know Sean Lee knows this defense. You can see the way Hatcher is playing early in practice that he's comfortable with the defense. Sean Lee is comfortable with the defense. They know where to be. And when you have that, you know, and DeMarcus Ware, he just play wherever he wants, so it don't matter. It don't matter. Thank you, sir. You redeem yourself. You from Rancho Cucamonga, too? No, I'm just asking, man. Okay, all right.
I think he said San Francisco.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yes,
You
ma'am,
sure
you
can.
sure can.
How about Victor Butler?
What about him?
Butler.
Well, how's he doing?
You want me to tell him you asked about it?
I know his mother. I know his mom.
Times have changed, but anyway,
I've
he's
been to
doing
his
great.
house.
I personally went to Victor after practice, you know, because Anthony Spencer is a little bit banged up, and we don't, you know, I don't know if he'll miss tomorrow. But I feel that Victor doesn't take advantage of his speed enough. This dude is something fast. And he's like, what, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", about 235, and he can flat out run. And I just walked up to him today and said, Victor, everything you do is predicated off of speed. Everything you do. So don't stop running. You know, and you know, even when he's rushing a guy and he's turning to him, if he's using all of his speed and he turning to this guy, he gonna bowl him over. Or he going to be able to do whatever he need to do. Everything he does is predicated off of speed, man. You know, that's like D. Ware. Everything he does is predicated off of speed. And every now and then you got to change up, just like a pitcher. You come off real fast and you freeze him and take him inside. It's just everything he does is predicated off of speed.
He's getting a good opportunity this week.
Yes, he is.
He will. I don't think Spencer will be back until Monday, so he'll be able to work with the first team in the scrimmage. He worked with the first team today. He'll work with them tomorrow, Sunday. So, yeah, good opportunity to get some quality snaps here. And they're looking for big things from him. And this is a contract drive season for him. So he needs to take advantage of this opportunity. Ronnie, how's the CowboySportsTours.com going over
I
there?
got a few questions. So let's start with Jim on the East Coast. You know, all those Cowboy fans over there. He wants to know, so far in camp, how is Tyron Smith looking with making the transition to left tackle?
You been keeping an eye on him?
Yes, Tyron Smith. He's been a little sluggish due to the fact that it's been college his freshman year since he's played left tackle. But what he's doing is he's working diligently. Oh, I got that out.
How about that,
And,
huh?
man, last year I tore that word up something terrible. Right on one of these shows. But anyway.
That's a 10-cent word
Oh,
there.
man, that's 50 cents for me, bro. that's a 50. But anyway, sometimes he get robotic. You know, he gets stiff. You know, he want to be perfect. But the game ain't perfect all the time. Sometimes you just got to get out there and get your knees bent and be ready to fight. And I think he's seeing that now. Pass rush, he's doing okay. But like I tell people, pass rush drill is a snap count and a guy. Practicing with a snap count and a play and a guy got his own responsibilities, he may not just be rushing outside. It's a different story. You just got to react. You just got to let the technique that you worked on in pass rush take over and let your ability go from there.
And you got to remember, this is early. And as Nate said, he hasn't played left tackle since his freshman year in college or whenever it was, high school.
Yeah, blowouts. He used to play in blowouts. You know, I went to him and said, hey, man, when the last time you played left tackle? He said doing blowouts his freshman year.
So, you know, they've practiced 4 days now, twice in pads. So that's not a lot. So that's what they're here for. They're not here to show up at training camp and be like a ready product. They're here to get better. And, you know, it's like today when I did my radio show this morning, they said, okay, 1 week into the camp now, who's the star of camp? And I said, so after 3 practices, 1 in pad, the star of camp is, and they caught my sarcasm. They didn't appreciate it. But it's been a short time. That's why you're here. So I think just because what happens is, and Nate and I have been over this several times with the fans, is like you get deluged with tweets and blogs and every day and every play, and they forget to put the perspective in that, you know, if DeMarcus Ware beats Tyron Smith, it doesn't mean Tyron Smith's having a bad day, because DeMarcus Ware has had a lot of very good players in this league have bad days. And they've played on the left side for a long time. So just take everything into context and just kind of sit back and think, okay, how many practices have they had and how many times has he done this? It was like Morris Claiborne. You know, oh, he's getting beat. He's getting toasted. Did they waste their draft pick? And it's like he's practiced 3 times since January 9th. Give me a break. So, and I know, you know, everybody's job is to document everything and try to entertain you guys and give you something to read, but I think it's almost become incumbent on the readers to place a little perspective on what's being thrown at them. Got another one there?
I do. We've got Robert from El Paso, and he wants to know, is there any of these young wide receivers in this short camp, mind you,
Thank you.
that you think have stepped up? I mean, obviously the Cowboys need a 3rd wide receiver. What's your thoughts?
Wide receivers that might have stepped up. Well, the one guy that would have had an opportunity to step up, and actually he did a pretty good job today. Andre Holmes showed everybody that he's back in practice. He was one of the guys that didn't pass his conditioning test and had to work for a couple days. And, you know, I think he's still the leading candidate to be the 3rd guy. I think the door, without him here, the door opened for Dwayne Harris, and I think he's looked better. He looks like he's reshaped his body, Nate. He's not quite as thick around the hips, and he looks quicker. And he's been working with the second team, and I think he's looked pretty good. And they've even used him some in first team nickel.
You know, him, Radway, and the kid you just talked about, Holmes, man. I mean, I seen Holmes in one-on-one today use his body, man, to get a few passes. And all of them are looking good. It was to their advantage today. It was a little bit rainy, a little bit slippery, so they was taking full advantage of that. You know, these guys just got to continue to work hard.
Yep.
And to, like I say, we'll start by Monday. We'll have a better picture of these guys because now you're under fire a little bit with the blue and white game. And like he says, you know, they're going to turn the rookies loose and let them see what they can really be about, you know, and that's what it's about. Just, you know, when you what you're going to do when you're under fire, you know, and these guys are getting better every day.
And when you know somebody's going to be hitting you.
Yeah.
If they let them hit them, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know, they'll come up and let them thud them real good.
Thud them?
Yeah. You know, back in the day, thud for Jimmy was take their head off. But nowadays, it's, you know, it's just what it is. Come up and just fit a guy up real tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you know, they're going to go with these young guys, and this will go back to the gentleman's question over here about T.O. They're going to hang with the young guys, I think, for a while. And then if they get to the end and they see that, you know, we just need something more, there'll be some receivers in free agency that get released by other teams. I'm not saying they're going to find LaRon Robinson again, but there'll be another guy out there that they'll say, okay, I feel a little bit better about this guy coming in and helping out. The thing with T.O., and I never, I guess, really answered the question, is not so much if he's got any ability left or if he can still run. They just don't need a potential disruptive type person in the locker room. This locker room seems to be getting pretty tight, and they just don't need a guy like that coming in. And Tony Romo had to go through that once. He doesn't need to go through that again with him.
You know, you don't never, and like you people that own businesses, you know what I'm talking about. You don't need that person. You got everybody's going the right way. Then you got this one person that you got to cater to. And now you want to get on this other person, and then the person you're catering to, you see it all the time at jobs. And, you know, he or she getting special privileges. Well, my kid is sick today. They don't show up, but your kid is sick, you know. Well, we really need you. You know, and that brings down your workplace. So, you know, you don't need people that's going to bring down your workplace. They finally starting to get guys in line, you know, getting guys going the right way and caring about the team first. And that's what you need. And when you got guys that, you know, they may feel like they're telling the truth and that they're honest type guys and that, you know, you can't have that. You got to have 53 guys trying to accomplish the same goal. And if you got one or two guys over here in the corner saying, well, oh, man, I don't feel this is right, you got to get rid of those guys, you know, and just hope that you ain't sunk too much money in them.
And if you think about it, and I don't know that he brought it up, Nate, but his past brought it up. After every game, if T.O. only caught 3 passes, the first question was, well, did they go to you enough? Did they use you enough?
Yes.
And he couldn't say, I ain't answering that. He had to answer it, you know.
You know, we won, and that's the only thing that counts.
Right.
And, you know, I'm going to tell you something. You know, you left the 49ers. Your quarterback was a problem. You left the Eagles. Your quarterback was a problem. You come to the Dallas Cowboys. And it wasn't too long you was with the Allen Wranglers, and the first person you talked about when you was with the Allen Wranglers was the Dallas Cowboys quarterback wasn't right.
Right.
So, when does talent becomes bigger than your team? You know, and I hate to bring this up, but that's what Dez is finally beginning to learn. You're a great, great talent, and on top of that, you're very young, but you're not bigger than the Dallas Cowboys. You either get in line or get the airplane. That's just how it goes, and that's just how it's got to be. And, you know, and as much as we need Dez, as much as his offseason has been in line and super, you know, up until this incident. I mean, this kid, you know, me and Mick was talking about, like, man, this kid is really – and then you go ahead and watch him in camp, the focus he has. When Tony Romo audibles now, he don't have that bewildered look. He looks in, shakes his head, and makes the play. You know, you're like, whoa, man. And so you want this guy, man, and you feeling and hoping that this guy finally understands what he means, not only to this team, man, but what he can do for himself. He don't understand that if you become a great Dallas Cowboy, you are taken care of for life. You don't have to do nothing in this city but just open your mouth, man, and it'll happen.
You know, I was searching for the word the other day of how to explain how hard he was practicing, and it finally hit me today. He's practicing like he's possessed.
Yeah.
Like something has got him just all wound up in every play, every practice play. He's going as hard as he can, and I think it's starting to pay off. Ronnie, did you trying to get our attention?
I was just going to tell Nate that Miss Memphis is in the house.
I saw her walk in.
Yeah, we saw her walk in. Yeah.
Welcome.
How you doing? Yeah.
They let you out of Memphis, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it's
good
to see you, man.
Well, we've got about 20 minutes left, so if there's any other questions,
well, I've got a guy
come on up. And hello there, Miss Price. How are you?
Yeah.
I've got a guy on here from Temecula.
Temecula.
And he wants to. We have a lot of people emailing in questions about DeMarco Murray and Vickers. So I'm just trying to maybe talk about it all at once because they all really are the same question.
Okay.
And what kind of impact will Vickers have, and what kind of running game do you think the Cowboys will have this year?
Well, it better be better, more consistent, and run the ball in the end zone more times than they did last year. I'll start right there.
It all comes down to, Vickers is proven. He's a proven fullback. He's a proven blocker. DeMarco Murray, the little bit he showed last year was a lot. So the question is not how well he will do. It's just how quickly will the offensive line come together. And if the offensive line can come together and gel real well and do what Jason Garrett needs for him to do and Coach Callahan needs for him to do for us, digesting the scheme and putting it and transforming it to the field, and everything will be great.
What do you think of Vickers?
Great. I think he's proven. I mean, and like I said the other day, he came and made some great blocks. And
yeah,
he does. But he's excited about being a fullback and doing his job. So I like the kid. They were interested in him last year and got beat out, money wise. And this year he came free again. So they got their man. And I feel like DeMarco Murray is healed and he's looking smooth. So it's just how quickly can the offensive line come together.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, when he puts a block on somebody, the pads make a lot of noise, or at least they did the other day.
Yes, they did. And it's just so many things are promising. So many things are promising. Just guys got to heal up.
Got to get healthy, right?
Yes, they have to heal up.
And, maybe it's one of these things where you get your injuries early and get them out of the way and then be ready to play when it's time to play.
Yes.
And I'll tell you guys another thing, that if you want some pretty good entertainment and you haven't done it yet, Jason Garrett was pretty entertaining today at his press conference. He touched a number of subjects, and the way he answered things was really, really good. So go to your favorite website, go to DallasCowboys.com and listen to the press conference. It'll be 20 minutes, and it'll be awfully, awfully good, including his take when somebody asked him if they pointed out that the Cowboys had so many likes on their Facebook page, and it was
5 million
NFL record, and they asked Jason what he thinks about Facebook, and it was pretty funny because what did he say? He said he knew that Betty White hosted Saturday Night Live, and they asked her about Facebook, and she says, well, to me, Facebook, and I'm paraphrasing here, is sort of like inviting people over to your house and you get out your vacation album and start showing pictures. It's fun for you, but probably the person looking doesn't think it's so much fun, which he said he doesn't Facebook. He doesn't even know what tweeting is. But it was entertaining. So if I was you, I'd go ahead and listen to it. Who do we have here?
Hi, my name's John. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. From Lake Elsinore, I just have a question on the Dallas Cowboys defense. How do you guys feel about that? I'm kind of concerned with the cornerbacks.
All right. Well, they've made an effort to upgrade the quarterback position, obviously. Spent a lot of money to sign Brandon Carr. And so far from what I've seen from him, Nate, I kind of like it. I mean, he seems to be kind of a physical corner, and, he kind of stays with the receiver pretty well.
It's just until the preseason start and you start seeing what schemes are, well, it won't be much scheming because these corners are cover corners. That's why they got Bo Claiborne. That's why they have Brandon Carr. These guys, they what they do is cover guys. Now, we'll see when preseason start. They get their quarter and a little bit more in what these guys are going to be. It's just for me to say right now, like today, it was wet out there, so the advantage receivers. Saying they were still doing a pretty decent job, and Mo Claiborne didn't even practice today because they're going to do an MRI on his knee. That's what Mick says anyway, and I'm hoping there's nothing there, to keep him from, progressing even further. So I'm just waiting for the first preseason game, and I'll start making assessments after this blue-white scrimmage, on the young guys. But until we get in the preseason, we never know what these guys going to do and how this defense going to function. So,
but we can tell you, and I understand your question, that to me, if the defense doesn't improve, then this team doesn't improve. It's the same team. This defense has to get better, has to be able to apply more pressure consistently on quarterbacks if they're going to win some of these games down the stretch. And, just to give you an example, I went back and looked and posted my story today on DallasCowboys.com, and, one of their priorities was improve the cornerbacks, improve the interior of the offensive line. When they looked at the two Giants games, and that's who they're chasing, they got to play as good as the Giants or beat the Giants if they're going to win the NFC East. They couldn't do it last year. They didn't win the NFC East. They didn't go to the playoffs. Those two games, Nate, Eli Manning had 5 touchdown passes, and he had 11, now count them, 11 passes for at least 20 yards. And there was a 74-yard pass and a 64-yard pass and 2 40-yard passes. You give up plays like that in the secondary or not getting enough pressure on the quarterback, you can't win. So they've got to get better at that. And then from the interior of the offensive line, in those 2 games against the Giants, Tony Romo got sacked 9 times. 9 times in 2 games. That was a quarter. 25% of the sacks he suffered during the season in those 2 games. So those 2 areas on this team have to get better. I think the Giants spelled it out for him. It's like, here's how we beat you. So now, can you get better and challenge us from those 2 spots? But one of them is defense. Good question. Appreciate it.
They're so close,
Right.
I mean, look, they lose to them, right? And they end up going off to win the Super Bowl, and they're in the driver's spot, If they knock them out, they could win the Super Bowl championship.
And here's the benefits of defense. And I guarantee you, while the offense got a lot of the accolades when you guys were winning, everybody forgets that defense was ranked number 1 a couple times and was always in the top 10.
It was always in the top 10 and stayed around 6 or better every year. And I would really like to think that it was just that simple with the Giants. I would really like to think it was just that simple. But I'm telling you, it's just not that simple. It looks that simple because the Giants are in our division and we got to see those games, but I promise you, it's just not that simple.
Their defense was awfully good down the stretch, and you mentioned they beat the Cowboys and went on to win the Super Bowl. They ended up winning the final 6 games they played, and their defense gave up an average in those 6 games, 14 points. You can do a lot of winning if you're only giving up an average of 14 points in 6 consecutive games, and 4 of them are playoff games, and 3 of them were against the top quarterbacks and offenses in the league. Top quarterbacks and offenses in the league, and they didn't give up more than 20 points in any of those 6 games. Now, was it Eli Manning?
No.
Okay? That defense made it pretty easy on Eli Manning.
I try to tell people, when in today's fast twitch world, the world of tweet, Facebook, and everybody just hit you real quick. Hey, man, if we'd have just did this, we'd have beat the Giants. It ain't that easy. The hard work, making sure you have the right players, doing the right thing at the right time. It's a lot of talented teams, and I give you one, I promise you, is talented or just as talented than the New York Giants. Got quarterback just as talented than the New York Giants. Got a wide receiver I know better than anything the New York Giants got. That's the Detroit Lions. What's the problem? They got talent everywhere. But you know what? It's not above the shoulders. So, when you say, when you think it's just that easy, it's not. That's why you have billion-dollar corporations, $100 million corporations, and $100,000 corporations. Then you got people that fold.
All right. Well, we're not folding yet. We've got 10 minutes left here on Maximum Sports Radio Roadshow. You're up next, sir.
Steve Pack from Alvin, Texas.
Very good.
I got a question about Bruce Carter. How's he doing? Do we have any concerns about him?
Right now, they have him alternating snaps with Dan Connor at that other inside linebacker spot. As a matter of fact, I just talked to the linebacker coach, Matt Eberflus, today about him, and he thought he was making great progress, that the one thing that was holding him back last year was recognition, like kind of seeing the play coming at him and understanding what he needed to do, needed to react. And he said he's picked up the speed on that he's reacting. He's getting his football instincts back from really not having played for almost a year and a half. So I think he's very competitive. If it was all about his physical talents, he's the starting inside linebacker. But he's going to have a challenge from Dan Connor. And I think, like Nate said about the wide receivers, we got to see him in a game. In a full-out game and see how he reacts to somebody coming at him. And it's, he's a guy that can get out in coverage and help him, but he's got to play that run inside, and he's not used to seeing people coming right at him. So we'll see how he adjusts, and then give us a game or two, and I'll give you a better answer on just what he can do.
I tell you what, Mick says it's been a year and a half. You got to understand, he got injured in college. So the last actual games he felt was in college. All of a sudden, you jump a year and a half later, he's playing in the pros. The speed. That's like you getting out on the 101 and you riding fast, 80, 90 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you NASCAR at 198. it just ain't going to be nice for you for a while. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have be queasy at the stomach. The kid's going to be screaming, and the wife's going to say, do you know where you are? So he's going to get it, though. I noticed him today, man, and he was moving a lot quicker. I'm like, whoa, this. I had to look and make it, whoa.
You wanted to see who was moving that fast? Whose number's that?
Right there? Oh, that's old Brucey Carter. Yeah, moving a little faster, man.
Somebody stole 54, huh?
Yeah, man. Shoot, man.
What was that TV show?
54? 54.
Car 54, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Come on,
Okay,
dog.
all right.
Man,
I was just
faster than Car 54.
All
man.
right,
Come
all
on,
right.
dog. That's an old police story, ain't it?
I think
They
Roddy.
ain't never showing up on time. No, I'm just joking, man. Hey, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just joking. Y'all help me out, okay?
I think Roddy's got some more emails.
Well, I have a question before I ask what this guy wants.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Customers first, I thought.
No, I ask a question sometimes. I want to know now that Matt McBriar is gone and
Chris Jones.
it's it. Like, I've kind of read all different kinds of things. How is he looking so far in training camp?
I think he's been, for the most part, pretty consistent. He's had a couple kind of sideways kicks that we saw last year. Yeah, shanks. Sideways. Sideways is good for wine, not punting, right?
Right.
But they have a lot of confidence in him. They like the way he handled the pressure in that Giants game when he punted, and he did punt very well. And they just think he's a rising young guy that they chose basically to stick with. I mean, they could have paid Matt McBriar, whatever the Eagles paid him, but they wanted to pay Matt McBriar money that would allow Chris Jones to compete with him. And if he beat him out, you wouldn't say, well, we paid Matt all this money, we can't let this young kid beat him out.
Yeah, he better be better than Matt McBriar. That's
now
all
the
I
one
better
thing,
say.
the one thing that I'm not sure on just how good he will be at. Remember, Matt can kill that ball inside the 10-yard line, and we'll see if he has that ability because it's a pretty good weapon, right?
Yeah. You build him up. I'm waiting with y'all.
Okay,
I'm with the fans on that one.
All right, so then we got Brian from Fort Myers, Florida. We'll take our one Romo question of the night. Okay.
Our perfunctory Romo question.
I might change the wording just a little bit.
Okay.
But first of all, what are your first impressions of Romo? And honestly, what does Romo need to do not to have, I'll just say, like a game like Detroit last year? He played plenty of good games, but I'm just going to put that one there.
You first? Me first?
You know what? I'll go on forever, so why don't you go?
Each get 2 minutes.
The first
2 minutes. What is this like the political debates?
The first thing he needs,
Mr. Newton, your 2 minutes start now.
The first thing that Tony Romo needs to do is look at his wide receivers and ask them, do they know where to run their routes at and run the correct routes? that for the offensive line to be the best that they can be, and then for his head coach to understand if he threw 1 or 2 interceptions, maybe you need to help him out and put him in a better position. So now that's what Tony Romo needs to do, let everybody else help him.
And then the other thing probably it'd help him if he's not playing with a broken rib and a punctured lung.
Yeah.
Which was the Detroit game that we seem to forget. And, boy, he made the right decision on that last interception. He just couldn't get it to Witten, who was running wide, what's the term, wide something open, and he couldn't get the ball to him. So it was pretty unfortunate. And then one of the other interceptions was the one that LaRon Robinson on a slant route let the DB jump in front of him, and that's the number one rule when you run a slant, right? The DB doesn't cross your face.
You know, it's just amazing that, you know, one thing about me, I try to be as honest as I can for people, you know, because, you know, once the players get in here and we start the regular season, you know, we'll ask people, don't try to down a player to another player, you know, because you're making yourself look bad. Because that's like me saying, okay, let's dog out your wife. You know, hey, you know, what do you think about your wife? You know, what you going to say about your wife? You ain't going to say nothing bad. She may be bad, but you ain't going to say nothing bad. With her husband. You ain't going to say nothing bad about your husband, especially if he's sitting right there. I'll say something bad about Mick, but I ain't going to not about my wife. So, Tony Romo, believe me, if he wasn't it, you know, like I don't think this punter they like is it. You know, I like the other guy. That's how I feel. You know, but Tony, ain't nothing wrong with Tony Romo. All Tony Romo is some help around him.
Maybe not have to be responsible for scoring all the touchdowns?
Not all of them. Some of them, but not all of them.
Maybe more than just like, what did he end up with, 32 out of 39?
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's matured and he's grown.
And he looks good in practice, by the way, if anybody's wondering. He's kind of got things figured out, and you know he can't throw the Dez and Miles all the time. He's got those other guys going in there, and you see him trying to nurture those guys and get them involved.
Ogletree know the plays. You know, I'm looking at these receivers more than I'm looking at the offensive line. Ogletree know the plays. Dez know the plays. Miles has always known the plays. Radaway know the plays. You rarely see guys running the wrong routes, whereas last year during training camp you saw it all the time. You saw Tony trying to direct guys. You know, Tony's season turned around when he finally said, you know what? You either get where you're supposed to get or I'm not throwing you the ball. His season turned around then. So when y'all see another text, oh, Tony threw an interception, stop and think. Did he really throw an interception? You know, did a linebacker step up and really make a play? Did a cornerback really just step up and make a great play? You know, so don't, you know, watch the games. Those of you that really know football, understand, you know when it's the quarterback truly his fault. You know when it's truly his fault. So, and I'm taking for granted that most of y'all are smart. So don't let people just lead you, take you like a bull with a ring in your nose, just lead you all over the place. Don't go for that. You know, watch the game. Try to understand the game. The game is fun if you know the game. Now, I'm talking if you know the game and you understand the basics of football, it is more enjoyable. But when you got somebody telling you, you know, like I hear parents tell kids, you know, oh, look at him, he messing up, da-da-da-da. And the little kid don't know the game, and he don't know that you just hollering out of emotions. Then he go to school and say, hey, you know, Tony Romo's no good. Well, how do you know? Well, that's what my dad said. Well, who is your dad? Well, my dad's name is Johnny Brown, and did his dad ever play football? No, but he's a big Cowboy fan.
Hey, I'll tell you, we've about used up our hour, but one last funny
You used
story.
up yours. I'm going to talk to you.
You're good. It was a preseason game. I want to say it was 91. You guys were playing the Raiders. It was I want to say it was Alexander Wright's second year, and he was a guy the Cowboys spent a second-round draft choice, had all the speed in the world, but didn't really know how to play wide receiver, didn't understand how to run routes.
He was a track guy, yeah.
He was a track guy. So it was in the middle of the game, and they called a deep post. And so he's going downfield. He curves into the middle towards the post, and Troy lets go, and he allows the DB to cross his face, like I was saying, on the slant, and beats him to the ball. And so as the story goes, I hear Troy comes back to the sideline. He goes up to whoever the backup quarterback was there. I think Babe was still there before they cut him and brought in Berline. And he said, if you ever see me throw another deep post to Alexander Wright, you shoot me right in the head. And what Nate was saying is, once the quarterback doesn't trust his wide receiver, then when he gets to the line of scrimmage and he looks over there and says, okay, I'm eliminating that, I've got to go over here because I don't trust him to run the route he's got to run.
And if the defense gets right and cover that guy, now the quarterback holds the ball, and all of a sudden he gets sacks, and now the offensive line looks terrible.
All right, we got time for –
Okay, well, hang on, actually. I need to make my announcements.
No, I was going to say one
there.
last question.
Okay.
If anybody here has one last question they want to come on up and let's hear from you. This has been a great crowd. This has been a great crowd here. All right, where's Chris with the mic?
I'm coming.
Hurry up, run. Now, we want you to get on. And then, Ronnie, you have some more emails there? Oh, you got to make your announcements.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I just was
Quick,
curious
hurry.
about the running game, seeing how DeMarco Murray did a great job last year. Although he had that injury, do you think they'll run the ball a lot more this year?
I think they'll run the ball if the defense says you need to run the ball. The question you need to ask is, will they run the ball more effectively when they do run it, not run it more? Because if I beat my head against that wall 10 times and that wall doesn't move, should I go 12?
Yes, you should. Be stubborn. Come on. Come on, Miss Ronnie. We got you, sweetheart.
They can keep talking after this goes off the air, but I want the people on air to listen that tomorrow, for people that are attending training camp and for you guys too, to check out this Radio Roadshow, we have special guest Drew Pearson here tomorrow night. And he will sign autographs after the radio show. So, and tomorrow's the only day because Sunday is private for the SoCal Fan Club. So, and for the people that are here on our package also will be here Sunday. So, one more time, Drew Pearson here tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. for our Radio Roadshow. And hope everyone comes to meet him.
All right, Ronnie, thank you very much. Thank you guys for joining us.
We'll
and Nate and I will hang out here. Nate will
Yeah.
take pictures. He's not going to sign autographs for anybody, but he will take pictures. I'll do whatever you want. I'm okay with that. We'll hang out here for a while. Thanks to folks on CowboySportsTours.com for joining us here on our Maximum Sports Radio Roadshow Happy Hour live from Oxnard, California. See you tomorrow night.
This has been Maximum Sports Radio
Maximum
Roadshow
Sports.
featuring Jay Ratliff and your hosts, Nate Newton and Mickey Spagnola.
Yeah, okay, cool.